Good evening, hockey fans. Data here with a trade that happened a couple days ago, at least in reports, but officially official today, as the New York Rangers have traded Chris Kreider to the Anaheim Ducks in a deal which I would kind of see as a Rangers masterclass, in my opinion. The Anaheim Ducks are acquiring Chris Kreider and a fourth-round pick in exchange for prospect Carey, Terrance, and a third-round pick. So to dump Chris Kreider, the Rangers receive a prospect and move up 15 picks in the draft. Now, you might be saying, well, Chris Kreider isn't just a contract. He's still valuable as a player. And yes, I agree with you, but this is huge for the Rangers, not just for value, but in terms of what's going to happen with K'Andre Miller, what's going to happen with Alexis Lafreniere. They need the cap space. They were in a very difficult situation that teams could have used against them. But the Anaheim Ducks, with their like $460 million of cap space, say, we'll take on Chris Kreider, and not even just for free, we'll allow you to move up 15 spots. And here is a prospect to boot as well. So I'll break it all down a little bit here. Mighty Joe hasn't heard the details yet. Great, perfect timing. Welcome, Intelligent Dice, all of our channel members here in the chat. Solid deal for both parties. I agree that both teams are getting value. I'm not saying that Chris Kreider is just a contract and the Ducks got fleeced. There's a big difference. It's not that the Ducks got fleeced. It's that the Rangers completed a masterclass in the sense that they were in a very difficult situation and they found a way not only to get out of it, but to come away with assets. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not a Rangers fleece. It's a Rangers masterclass, because they were, by any other opinion, I would think a week ago, about to have to probably dump prospects, maybe, I don't know who in their system, to be able to get rid of that contract. Yeah, and Demolition Jury is not done yet. Lots more to happen in New York. Let's break it down. So the trade, that's it right there. Now, who are these players? What's going on? First, let's say Chris Kreider for the Rangers, a huge, more than a thank you, just a career of New York Rangers, not just in games played, but in who he was as a player with the Rangers, embodying so much of that Rangers spirit for so long, as he ends 8th all-time in games played for such a storied franchise, 3rd all-time in goals at 326, 1st all-time in playoff goals. That's a crazy stat to think about. 1st all-time in Rangers playoff goals, 48 from him, tied for the most power play goals in franchise history, 2nd most game-winning goals in franchise history, 4th most shorthanded goals in franchise history, 8th most games played, 10th most points, and 5th most shots. He was putting the puck on net, 2,160 shots over his career. Welcome to the stream, Mackenzie. Thank you for joining in. Now, looking at, actually, let's not go to where he was this past season just yet. Just again, the career. What a run for Chris Kreider in New York from 12-13 to 24-25. Looking at his projected wins above replacement percentile rank, this focusing on 21-22, what a year that was in 21-22 when he had his 52-goal season out of nowhere, 77 points and 52 goals. That season in the 97th percentile of wins above replacement. So it's not, those are numbers of just that year, but look at the trajectory, going up, going up, going up, going up. He was above, not only above the 50th percentile, but above the 75th percentile for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 consecutive seasons. And only now this past year in 24-25 dipped below that. So that's what the Rangers are saying. Hey, Chris Kreider still has value, Anaheim. He still is, he's still going to be able to do something for you. He's not just a contract. So I guess that's where the value comes from, for sure. Yeah, for sure. But it was a big dip from 23-24 to 24-25. Interesting to see, as Jay Fresh mentioned, psych on the age curve in 2021. So over here, it starts going, plateauing, going down a little bit, middling, up, down, whatever. Then boom, way back up and stayed there. So his year 21-22, 22-23, and 23-24 wins above replacement percentile ranks were all higher than any season before that. So he aged very well. The number 3 next to your name, that's just in the new thing in the YouTube chat. People who are commenting the most have number 1, number 2, and number 3 next to their names in the chat. That's what it is. On the Rangers, Mount Rushmore, says Intelligent Dice, is it Leach, Messier, Richter, and Chris Kreider? Interesting to think about. Does he make the Rangers Mount Rushmore? Huh. So that's what Chris Kreider over his career as a New York Ranger. But if we look at the last few seasons, you can look at it like this. Okay, cool. The last 3 seasons, namely, Chris Kreider, reportedly acquired by Anaheim. Yes, he has been a veteran net front scoring winger. Big, solid, and still decently fast in a straight line, and can be a threat off the rush. His game took a big hit last year in terms of goals and chances at even strength. So the dip last season, we'll talk about that in a moment. It wasn't just point regression. It was a genuine struggle. So we look at his point production. Now 34 years of age. He just turned 34 at the end of April. A 19th overall pick in 2009. I haven't refreshed it yet here on Hockey DB. In that 09 draft, what a pickup to find him at 19, especially when guys like, let's see, Louis LeBlanc and David Rundblad had just went, players who didn't quite make it. The Rangers find a great piece there in 19th overall in Chris Kreider. Plays his entire career as a Ranger, 123 games played in the postseason as well, but no Stanley Cups. Brutal. So close. A couple of great chances in New York. 582 points in 883 games. Looking at his entire career, in his 82 game average. So 30 goals per 82 games played, 30 goals and 54 assists. That 152 goal season was ridiculous. I don't know how he didn't get any award votes. He was 10th in Calder votes in his rookie season and 40th in Selke votes in 16-17. Aside from that, no votes anywhere. I'm kind of surprised there's no votes anywhere at all, even after his 52 goal season in 21-22. But all right, led the league in power play goals that year, game-winning goals. Chris Kreider, and can't forget about the hits as well. Almost 1,600 hits in his career. But as we're seeing with the numbers with like hits, especially taking a dip as well, from 141 to 128, same number of games to 99. If we look at the JFresh card again, so this is, we'll come back to this in a moment. This is just over the 24-25 season, his microstat card. Just looking at that season, not the last 3 years of weighted average data. The dip last season wasn't just point regression, it was a genuine struggle. Poor scoring combined with poor chance generation and brutal play driving with a bad penalty impact to boot. The Ducks will need a bounce back in these last 2 seasons of the contract, of his deal. So this past year, was he hurt all year? That's going to be discussed as well. But 30th percentile in even strength offense, wins above replacement. 25th percentile in even strength defense. Welcome Landon. Welcome Lineroo. Power play wins above replacement. At least there's that in the 79th percentile. That's still there. Penalty kill 38th. Penalties, yeah, drawing penalties versus taking penalties in the 4th percentile. That's ugly. Finishing 48th. He's still in the highest percentiles of the league, in the top 10 of the shots off high danger passes, zone exits, all that good stuff, and still well above average in skating speed, rush offense, stuff like that. But others, 7th percentile in primary assists, 23rd in zone shot assists, zone entries, great for the zone exits at 93rd percentile, but 32 on zone entries, 32nd, I should say. So for the last 3 seasons, as we see here, a huge dip into 24-25. And we see that it was pretty steady. It had gone up, took a little jump for 3 straight seasons in this like 80th percentile, 90th percentile range, and then a big drop off to something like, I don't know, the 35th percentile. Over the last 3 years of weighted average data, he's still in the 74th percentile. But think about this. The offense dropped to maybe the 40th, the defense like the 25th, and the finishing to just above the 50th. When these numbers are including the seasons before that, where he had scored 39 goals and 36 goals. So take the numbers here with a grain of salt, because they're 2 very different pools of data, I guess you could say. Signed on for 2 more years at the age of 34. So are the Ducks getting value? Sure, absolutely. Did they get fleeced? I don't think so. But that the Rangers were in such a sticky situation and they came away with value, I'm surprised that Anaheim gave that much. The Ducks, I haven't refreshed yet, so I'm doing it now. They had $38.68 million in cap space. They had a bunch of picks. Now we hit refresh. Excuse me. We see the cap space down to 32.18. And now in the draft pick situation, as they had moved a 3rd and brought back a 4th, that now has them with a 1st, a 2nd, a 3rd, 2 4ths, 2 5ths in this draft here in 2025. Let's see. The prospect. Yeah, we're going to talk about the prospect in just a moment for sure. Intelligent Dice also saying, I think that downward trend in defense matches the Rangers hiring Laviolette. Interesting point to make there too. Yeah, there's a lot you could discuss about the Rangers and where they're going as a trajectory now. So that's Anaheim. They still have a lot of picks. They still have a ton of cap space, but they give up a prospect to bring in Chris Kreider, still with Alex Killorn there as well in that contract. So the Ducks, yes, they're going to be great in a few years with all their young pieces, but I wonder if they're trying to compete sooner rather than later. Could they compete with Chris Kreider, Alex Killorn, and of course the former Rangers captain Jacob Trouba, 2 Rangers legends going to the Anaheim Ducks here. So 1 more year for him. All of these ads, oh my goodness. 1 more year for Trouba, 1 more year for Gudas, 2 more years for Killorn, 2 more years for Kreider, 2 more years for Ryan Strome. You think the Ducks have a lot of money now? Wait for the, let's say, the 2027 or so off season. Oh my goodness. The Ducks are going to be very scary because not only do they have a good young pool, they're also going to have money to spend on players who are coming up, like the Mitch Marners of the world. Hobbsy also joining in saying Anaheim didn't give up much, but will have a lot of money tied up in Kreider for the next 2 if it doesn't work. Yeah. So even if it doesn't work, it's not the end of the world. But yeah, all the points that I'm already making. Now, the Rangers, they had no first and then a second, third, 2 fourths. Refresh now. Cap space jumps to almost 15 million. And now they have no first, a second, 2 thirds, fourth, fifth, 2 sixth, seventh there. So the cap space close to 15 million now. And they have to use that money on figuring out, Will Cooley, Matt Rempe, easier contracts, more Will Cooley. It's going to be K'Andre Miller, who's a tough one. And then after that, we had some discussions with Alexis Lafreniere and potentially him being trade bait, especially before his trade modified no trade clause kicks in. It's only an 18, but still in 2027, 28. So if Lafreniere were to be out too, that gets you to well above 22, 23 million. But what are the Rangers trying to do? Do they want to re-sign K'Andre Miller? Do they want to keep Alexis Lafreniere? Do they want to trade them out and go after big fish in free agency? Because to think, Adam Fox, Will Borgen, Carson Soucy, and Braden Schneider, that's your top 4 on defense. That's almost 20 million. If you told me that the Rangers blue line was costing them 20 million and that it was Adam Fox, okay, that makes sense. But then Borgen, Soucy, and Schneider, I'd say, where's this money going? Is it just for one more year on Soucy? I get it. But still, I feel like Borgen, I'm not trying to disrespect him. We've discussed him when he got traded as well. He does what he does well enough. But that's really like a deal that's thinking about the increasing salary cap, because in the NHL of last year, he's not a $4.1 million player. Are they going to force Mika Zibanejad out? That's another question. I could see so many players leaving here. They just brought in JT Miller, but if you told me that Zibanejad, Lafreniere, Miller, all those guys didn't start 2025, 26 with the Rangers, I'd say, yeah, I could believe that. Panarin, one more year on his contract. What's going to happen there? Big question. Now, to finally get to the prospect, who are the Rangers also picking up in this deal? Terrance, a 20-year-old centerman who was drafted in the second round of 2023 draft. He's been with the Erie Otters in the OHL ever since he was drafted. Just put up 39 points in 45 games. I don't know if that's a bad not trajectory, just dropping from 52 and 56 to 39 and 45. It's kind of the same pace. It doesn't seem like he's improving very much in his point production. 30 goals 2 years ago. But now this year, last year, I don't know. I'm honestly not up on all my Erie Otters OHL stats. I got to be honest. But this doesn't scream super impressive to me from Terrance. So even if it's a nobody prospect, even if it ends up being a nobody prospect, you're still moving up 15 picks in the draft and dumping Chris Kreider. So I think the Rangers can still be happy. But hey, they throw someone in their system. That kind of guy, yeah. His draft picks were traded from the Avalanche with Drew Hellison for Josh Manson. I see. Okay, so the Josh Manson trade, the trade tree gets bigger here. The Josh Manson trade back in the 2022 deadline. This now turns into Drew Hellison, and then the pick that becomes Carey Terrance gets flipped for Chris Kreider. So the Ducks essentially getting Drew Hellison and Chris Kreider for Josh Manson and a third. Drew Hellison, who, should be, I would think, a full-timer next year. Who's the top 5 UFAs in all your opinions? We can look at Puckpedia and talk about that. But the Ducks will, I think, definitely be players in free agency and going after the Mitch Marners of the world. I wonder if I could just pick up a little bit of information here on Terrance. Hey, it's instant reaction and analysis. Carey Terrance. I wonder if I just go and look at some of the descriptions here. Okay, this is going to tell us a little bit more about him. This is what we want to see. So Carey Terrance, assuming the trade goes through, yes, it did. Here's some things about the prospect. Okay, helped Team USA win gold at this past World Juniors. Really, I didn't notice that. Oh, it was right in my face. 2 goals in 7 games at the World Juniors. Okay, there's that. Speed is his number 1 asset. When healthy, played in all situations. Was the Otters captain. Suffered a brutal injury when he was checked into the boards against Owen Sound. I see. Seen improvement in his physical game on top of already being a threat offensively, and has a great story as he's from way upstate New York and a member of the Mohawk Nation. Very interesting. All right, so there's the story on Carey Terrance. Born in New York, now going to the New York Rangers. Huh. Anything else on Carey Terrance? That's probably all we're probably going to get on him. I don't know if I have the rights to show those, so I don't want to. Let's see this. The most recent... Okay, doesn't really tell us that much more. That's probably about all we're going to get on Carey Terrance. This is what we were looking for. Don't expect much from Carey Terrance here, but the fact that the Rangers are getting him and a pick in return for Kreider is something. That's what I'm saying. What does Chris Drury have on Pat Verbeek to get him to give up value for both the Kreider and Trouba contracts? I guess we'll never know. True, because the Trouba contract as well, the Trouba trade, I should say, was also one where the Rangers came out smelling like roses. Jacob Trouba, that trade was Vakanainen and a fourth for Trouba, not just a dump. Vakanainen and a fourth aren't the most valuable pieces, but still, but they have a player and a draft pick, a late draft pick for Jacob Trouba. So Carey Terrance, looking at him right here, draft year -1, then his draft year, draft year +1, draft year +2. So looking like maybe the potential of a fourth liner, impact forward, fourth liner, NHLer. Unlikely even that he would become a fourth liner. Doesn't look like his trajectory is that close to being an NHL player. Forget being a top 6 or top 9 player. So these cards aren't the be all end all of a player, but at least it shines a little bit of light on who he is as a prospect. So the Rangers get him in the system, throw him in, why not? They get to move up 15 picks and they dump 6.5 million, correct? They dump 6.5 million for the next 2 years on a 34-year-old, but not just a 34-year-old, a franchise legend, potentially on the Mount Rushmore of New York Rangers hockey. So in now less than 12 months here, Chris Kreider and Jacob Trouba both gone. Now who's leading this team? Is Zibanejad, is he going to be gone? What's going to happen there? Who's your leader? Vinny Trocheck on a sweetheart of a contract. That would be great. But who aside from that? I guess it's Adam Fox as your guy. I don't see him going anywhere. Igor Shesterkin's not going anywhere. So Shesterkin, Fox, and I would think Vinny Trocheck on that contract are the untouchables, and JT Miller since he just got acquired. But Panarin expiring deal. Zibanejad might get forced out. Lafreniere not negotiations, just feelings, sentiments between the two are not great. And then the defense, you're spending $20 million on like a high-end guy and 3 second or third pair guys. So who's playing top pair with Adam Fox next season? I don't know. But I would think that the Rangers are looking to spend money. Could it be Condre Miller? Yes, absolutely. But if they're looking to shop him, then you have to think who's playing with Adam Fox. So if they can use that money for Adam Fox and for Will Cuylle and maybe even Arthur Kaliev, guys like that, yes, they have the money, $15 million. But if they can make some other deal as well, then sorry, let me rephrase that. If they can then also make a trade to use that money for acquisitions as opposed to just extensions, that would put them in a position of power. That's what I'm trying to say. Who's going to want Lafreniere? No, Lafreniere. The Canadiens would eat it up. The Canadiens would eat it up. Bro gets to play with Matthew Schaefer and can't go point per game. That's true. He was with Matthew Schaefer in Erie. True. So that about does it for the breakdown of the trade. Not too much to say about it, just especially since it's not super breaking news there. Yeah. Lovely. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Is this a Rangers masterclass as I say it? What are the Ducks trying to do with acquiring Chris Kreider? And what are the Rangers going to do next? We'll be live in about 15 minutes with backyard baseball on PlayStation 5. So if you're sticking around, keep an eye out for, excuse me, that's come your way. Subscribe for more breaking news analysis in the real world of hockey, draft, free agency, all that good stuff, as well as all of our franchise mode series here on the channel. Even though he's French on the Canadiens, would eat it up. French players, they would be dancing on St. Catherine for Alexis Lafreniere to come to the Canadiens. But then the pressure that would be on him would be ridiculous. All right, thanks everybody for being here. There's a breakdown on Chris Kreider. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe for more breaking news and analysis. And leaving your thoughts in the comments or in the Discord server. And we'll be talking more soon.